Good evening. It's December 10th, and we're going to do a video on owner financing. And that's not it. Okay, owner financing. Can you turn any deal or a deal into owner financing? And the answer is probably not, but you might be able to turn some deals. Some deals may consider owner financing. Generally, though, sellers want their money, so they're unlikely to do an owner financing deal. And some sellers who might be willing to do an owner financing deal don't understand the benefit, and it's fear of the unknown. Now, for buyers, they may not be able to qualify for a traditional mortgage. Deals can be done very quickly when it's owner financing. Buyers with bad credit can buy. There's a lot less in closing fees. Some buyers have big income and good cash flow, but lousy credit. And a lot of these buyers know the term terms or price. For cash buyers, everything is about the price. I want to get the best price I can. I'm a cash buyer. But those of us who buy on terms, it's all about how much is it going to cost me a month. And a lot of times, the person that will be willing to do an owner financing deal will pay a lot more than what it would cost them if they could get a traditional mortgage, because they're not worried about the price. They're worried about the terms. What's my monthly cash flow? So let's talk about why owners don't want to do owner financing. They want the money. They're afraid the buyer won't pay. They've never done one before. They've heard bad stories about owner financing deals that have gone bad. If the buyer doesn't perform, the seller will have to foreclose, and then they'll get the house back, and maybe the buyer destroyed the house. But this is primarily made for people who are looking to buy using owner financing. So let's talk about, how do you induce a seller to do an owner financing deal? And the answer is, you make an offer the seller can't refuse. You give them a higher purchase price. You give them a larger down payment. You can offer them a higher interest rate. You can use the buy here, pay here illustration. You see it on the street, all those car dealerships, buy here, pay here. They don't really want you to pay. They want you to buy the car, give them a big down payment, and then not make the payment, so they get the car back so they can sell it again. If a seller does a owner financing deal and gets a large upfront down payment, they get to keep the down payment, and they get the house back. And if you're trying to induce a seller to do an owner financing deal, you can tell the seller, we will use your attorney and I will pay the fees. You, as the owner financing buyer, will pay the fees for this seller to use her own attorney to do the paperwork. Now, for the seller, there's some challenging considerations. It becomes a taxable event, and even though they didn't get the money, they would have to pay the tax on it. But the seller gets a bunch of cash when they sell the house. Then they have to find a place to put the money. That money might be well put to work in a mortgage, in a home that they know where they're going to get a much higher interest rates, perhaps, than they could do if they used that money and had to put it in an alternate situation. A seller who might never consider an owner financing deal might be someone who would lend on a property at a high rate. And if the seller can't get a yield on the money higher than offered by the buyer, look, if they can only get 6 or 7% on their money and you offer them 10%, well, that's a good deal. They may just take it. If you have a property that needs a lot of work and won't pass a home inspection, selling it with owner financing allows buyers who have skills to buy the property even though it won't pass a inspection for a conventional financing. And this is a good way for the seller to get rid of a property that needs work. Now, if you are doing an owner financing deal with a buyer, if you're the buyer and you have a colorful credit history, don't put the property in your name. Put it in a trust, because if you have a colorful credit history, your credit history will attach to that house. So you, as the buyer, don't want that, and the seller definitely doesn't want that. So just put it in a trust. if you're the buyer. So how do you make an owner financing offer? Well, you have to create a offer based on the property. So we're going to use an example here that I've created. Let's assume this property is $300,000, and I put purchase price $325,000, because what we're going to do is we're going to induce that seller to do something that they don't want to do. We're going to give them an offer that they just can't refuse. So if we offer them $25,000 more, then we'll offer them $325,000. Let's say the down payment's $55,000. Let's say the interest rate is 8%, and I just made this up. We can make the offer whatever we want it to be. But if it's not going to be a great offer, the seller is not going to take advantage of your offer. This is a monthly payment of $1,800 of interest only. I put a 5-year balloon on it just so we can have this discussion that the seller's not going to give you a 30-year deal. You're going to have to make a deal in which you have to have an exit strategy. So your exit strategy is going to be to refinance this property with a real mortgage or with a different mortgage than the one you have here, because the only way to induce these sellers is to, actually, it's not even true. You can induce them to do a 30-year mortgage, but it's just unlikely that they will do it. So you give them a 5-year balloon with the promise that you'll refinance it. Okay, look, I'm Randy Jenkins. Now I'm going to go over and look at some properties that actually are being offered on MLS. I'm back. I'm leaving. Okay, if you go into Pasco County, and I am Mr. Pasco, there are 60 properties right now that have a seller that would consider owner financing. And I don't want to go through these 60 houses. So let's just say my buyer, we're looking for a house. Let's get rid of the condos and the mobiles, and let's go to single family residences. Now, if you were my customer and you were come to me and say, what do I buy? What's a good deal? I'm going to tell you, don't buy in the flood zones. It's just too risky. So there's 22 properties. Also, you're going to have to buy flood insurance. It's going to cost you $300, $500, $1,000 a month, and nobody wants that. So here's a seller that's offering owner financing. They're $220,000 on the asking price. It's only 2 bedrooms. I tell you what, let's get the perfect house. Let's get a 3-bedroom house. Now we're down to 11 properties in Pasco County that are offering the opportunity for owner financing. It's likely we're going to see that these houses are priced higher. New roof, new permitted AC, $259,000. It's only 1,080 square feet. It's in the Lakes, which is a pretty good neighborhood. Ridgewood Gardens, 1,002 square feet, $259,000, a 3-2 and a 1-car garage. This is on Vermont Avenue. I think this is actually Newport Richey, downtown Newport Richey. Yeah, great location, but $285,000. It's only 864 square feet. Makes it very expensive. All right, here's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage with solar panels and a fireplace. So if you had to put 25% down, you're going to need around $75,000 to buy this property with owner financing. Did I mention it has a pool? I did not, and there it is. So it's a little dated. Oh, wow, look at that closet. Okay, so we like this one. So if you're looking for an owner financing deal, Driftwood Village is a great neighborhood. Let's show you where it is on the map. And this 30% down, 75 grand, I just made that up. I mean, we literally could offer whatever you want. What I would do is I would not, if you say I have, 5 grand down or 10 grand down, I mean, it's not going to happen. The payment's going to be way too high, and it's just going to be very unlikely that we're going to be able to induce a seller to give up their house for a smaller down payment. All right, I'm Randy Jenkins, and I appreciate you watching this video. And like I said, if you want to get a list of owner financing houses, then reach out to me, and I'll put you on an email drip, and you can see properties as they come out. Have a great day. Bye.